Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel on YouTube, Mitch's Mitchen영어코칭. I'm here to help you be a leader in business and help you with the English part, because speaking English in everyday business and life and work is not always easy, especially if it's your second language. So I'm going to give you some tips on this channel. I'll give you more and more English tips, leadership tips, business tips, all of those things to help you with your career, with your life. So today we're going to talk about meetings. Meetings. Everybody has to have meetings. Nobody likes meetings. But often, many of my students, they tell me they can usually participate in a meeting, okay? And I give a lot of tips on this channel for how to participate in a meeting as a worker. So check out my other videos about that. But the other problem many students say is they don't know how to lead a meeting. Leading the meeting is much more intimidating, much scarier, right? And sometimes you have to lead a meeting in English, right? Maybe there's a lot of people, maybe not that many people, but it's still something that probably you have had to do or you will have to do in the future. So if you want to move up in your career, you need to be the kind of person who can control a room, in a friendly way, in a good way, in a professional way, but you want to be able to lead, okay? So today I'm going to give you kind of the leadership blueprint, how to lead a meeting. Next time you have to be in charge of a meeting, how can you control the meeting so that it doesn't get, out of control? A lot of times meetings, sometimes they can go sideways. That means, you're trying to keep everybody on track, but everybody doesn't want to be on track. They like to talk about something else, or sometimes, people get upset about something, start arguing, or just sidetracked. We call it sidetracked, right? They're going on to another topic. But if you're going to lead, then you have to be the one to control the conversation, control the meeting, control the situation. Okay, so I'm going to teach you some phrases that will help you to run a meeting in English in a very professional way, a way that everybody in the room will feel comfortable with you as the leader, okay? They're not going to feel like you're too strong or too pushy if you use these phrases that I'm going to teach you, okay? So the first step that you want to do is you need an opening, okay? An opening, which is your greeting, and then set the agenda. The agenda means, usually you have some things you're going to talk about, right? Your main goal of the meeting, and then agenda items, the things that you need to talk about. Now, normally when I run meetings, I usually just print the agenda so that everybody can see, or I'll put it on the slides behind me or something so that, we all see very clearly what we're going to talk about. And this is what everybody wants to see, because they want to know, basically how long is this meeting going to go, right? Nobody wants a long meeting. So if you can see the agenda items, you can kind of calculate like, okay, this will take about this much time. Get out of here in time for lunch, okay? So that's good to have. It puts everybody kind of at ease, and it makes everybody see that this is going to be organized, it's going to be structured, it's not going to be a chaotic meeting, okay? But also, besides actually printing it or showing it, you should verbally say it. So first, verbally greet everybody. Thank you all for joining. All right, thanks everybody for joining. Okay, thanks for coming. And then give your main objective. The main objective of today's call is, if you're on a call or on a Zoom meeting, or you could just say, the main objective of today's meeting is, and then just state your main objective. What are you going to talk about? The main topic, okay? And then if you have other items, then you can list those. So the main objective of today's meeting is this, and so we're gonna cover these items. Okay, just quickly. You don't need to spend a lot of time on the opening. It's just a way to set the agenda so everybody knows this is where we're going. Okay, very important. Don't skip this step, because people really need that. Otherwise, things will go sideways. They're going to go off track, like I said. Okay, now the second thing you need to do, now you need to manage the flow. Manage the flow. Often, when you're talking about an item, you need to transition to the next item. Okay. Now, you've already set the agenda, so this shouldn't be too hard. You just need a phrase like this. We say, okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Okay, so let's say you're talking about something and you feel like, if you're the leader, you feel like, okay, that's enough. Let's just stop. Okay, then you can't just say, okay, next, right? Next item. Well, you could say that, but a better way is, okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Okay, very smooth transition. Or another way, let's say you're the meeting in this topic, whatever the point you're talking about with the other person, it's going back and forth, going back and forth. This person says something, this person says something, and nothing's happening. You know, this happens a lot in meetings. No progress. We're just back and forth discussing. We're not really doing anything or covering anything or fixing anything. So in that case, a good phrase to use is this one. We say, okay, let's circle back to that later. Let's circle back to that later. Circle back means we'll come back to that. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but this is a way to get everybody to move on, okay? Because let's face it, if you're the leader, it's your job to get everybody out of these conversations that are not going anywhere. Oftentimes we have those conversations in a meeting. Nothing's really productive is happening. It's just back and forth. Okay, so your job is to say, okay, everybody, those are good points. Those are good points. Let's circle back to this later. Okay, so that's very important. Those transitions are very important for keeping the ship on track, right? We want to keep on the right path, right? We don't want to get off on the wrong path. Okay, let's say you have someone in your meeting who talks too much. This happens a lot too, right? You have the one guy or girl who just wants to keep talking, saying their opinion. That's okay, let them talk, but you only have so much time. So in that case, use this phrase. In the interest of time, let's keep things moving. In the interest of time, that means for the sake of time, because time is short, we need to keep moving. Okay, so in a nice way, you say, oh, that's a good point. Those are good points. But in the interest of time, let's keep things moving here. And then say, all right, so moving on to the next item on the agenda. So sometimes you can mix those together, make it sound nice and smooth. Okay, and then the last thing, phase 3 here, is the wrap up. Wrap up means, finish it up. You got to finish it up. So a good phrase is to say, to recap, our next steps are... boom, 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 and list the steps. Okay, this is very important. These are called action points, action steps, right? When you finish a meeting, you should have action points, specific ones for people in the group, whoever's there. Like, so if you're having a team meeting, this person, you say, okay, you're going to take care of this, and you're going to take care of this. Okay, so at the end of the meeting, we want to kind of summarize that. We want to recap that. Recap means go back and review and make sure everybody knows what their part is, okay? Otherwise, what's the point of the meeting? If there's no action points, the meeting was useless and you really didn't need to have a meeting, okay? So you should have specific action points. Maybe some of the action is going to be you. So you'd say, okay, so to recap, I'm going to take care of this and you're going to take care of this, okay? To recap, that's a good phrase. To recap, our next steps are... point, point, point. Okay, so that's a good one to use. A strong conclusion is really the most important part of a professional meeting. You have to have a strong ending. Otherwise, people get to the end and they feel like, wow, we just wasted an hour of our time. And you really don't want people to feel like you've wasted their time. Okay, we want to value their time and we want it to be productive and we want good productivity to come out of the meeting. So in order to do that, we need these phrases that I taught you today, okay? You need to keep the meeting moving in a smooth way. We don't want to get stuck in meaningless back and forth conversations. And in the end, we want to recap everything to give them the action points that they can do when they leave the meeting, okay? So don't just sit there when you're in a meeting, lead the meeting. If you're the leader, lead the meeting, right? Don't let the conversations run away from you. You got to take control of that, okay? If you want to practice these kind of leadership scenarios with me in real life, you can do it. Go to my website, mitchinenglishcoach.com, and sign up for some one-on-one classes there. I have some hour classes you can sign up for, or 30 minutes, whatever you want, several times a week or once a week or however many times you want to do it. We can meet online and I will give you lots of these kind of tips and we can practice together. That's the best way. All right, so go to my website and check those out and I'll see you in the next video.